All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to JS Gigs, and my name is Deepak. In this tutorial, I'm going to be talking about Cypress Cloud, and also I'm going to be talking about what are the other benefits that you get if you take a Cypress Cloud. It's essentially a paid feature, so it's not really part of the MIT license. It's something that you will have to take a subscription of, and then you need to work. So there are multiple plans available, and then that's something you can see from the website itself. You will all you have to do is to basically reach here and then look at the pricing, and then probably there you'll be able to understand that how much is the price. All right, so what is the benefit of taking a Cypress Cloud? Why would anyone opt for it? So the idea behind that is that, let's say if you're running your test cases, so if you're running your test cases, Cypress Cloud provide insight to your test cases in a deeper level. So you are required to first of all log into Cypress Cloud and create an account and choose a right plan for you. And after that, you'll be able to basically see a lot of features, such as you'll be able to integrate your projects here. So that's something which is available here at the projects tab from the Cypress Cloud. All you have to do is just set up your project in the way in which it is written here. After that, you can come over your runs, and it gives you a comprehensive view of how your test cases are performing so far. It'll also tell you that how many test cases are passing, and what is the status and the number of browsers available. And there are many other options available which are worth paying this premium price for, right? So all of these are available, and it also records, and there is something called time travel. This is all available here, right, from the Cypress Cloud. But again, I must highlight this is definitely a paid feature. So if you are not really looking to pay for it, then you can probably skip this tutorial. But then if you wish to take a subscription of it, I'll give you a quick overview of how to go about it, and what are the benefits that you will that'll come along with the Cypress license, right? So you can also basically orchestrate your test cases, meaning you can run your test cases parallelly, you can run your test cases sequentially in multiple systems, and you can do that. Let's say if your test cases to take too much of time to run, and that's something that you can basically come here only in the cloud version, only in the paid version. You can basically do a load balancing, parallelization, and prioritization of test cases that you want your Cypress Cloud to run. All of these features are available, and also there is, let's say if you have a particular feature where the test case fail often, so that basically are flagged as flaky test. So those flaky tests are available under a flaky test management tab, and that's something you can come here and can see that how it performs, and it gives you a very deep insight of your test cases, right? So also you can basically set up alerts for fake for flaky test cases, and then but I just want to give you a quick overview of what flaky test is all about. And next we are also going to be talking about analytics in which we will say that how many test cases passed, failed, and many other details, and what is the graph, and how much is the coverage, and all of that stuff. All of those things are available in the Cypress dashboard, and that's something we will also read one by one, right? But I'm just giving you a quick overview of what we are going to be basically covering in this entire tutorial, right? I must highlight this once again. If you are not really looking out to pay for a Cypress premium feature for such premium feature, you are most welcome to skip this tutorial and go to the next one. I'm also not going to be basically paying for this feature. I'm going to be creating my free account and quickly give you an overview of how it really functions. This is whenever you create a free account in Cypress Cloud, it allows you to run test cases in for 15 days. So that's something we are going to be doing now. So currently you can see the cypress.io/login. Here you will have to click on the account, and basically there are 3 or 4 different mechanisms available to choose from. So you can log in from your email, you can do the SSO, you can also log in from your Google account, and also from the GitHub account, right? So if you, let's say, have a Google account, like in my case I have a Google account, so let's say I'll choose this one and log in, and then all I need to do is just to continue. And after you click on continue, it'll ask for the basic details like in mine. So I am all of it. So you can basically choose it. It's not really mandatory to choose these checkboxes, but then it is good to choose it, and probably Cypress will have a deeper insight of how this product is being used. It's not a problem to click on the things that you really like. right? So manage quality is also something, because I essentially do all of these stuff. So that's why have checked on all of these points. So let's say click on continue. And once you click on continue, it comes here. And then let's say the organization name is JS Gigs. Organization website, I'm going to be quick. I'm going to be moving forward. Cypress running for CI pipeline, and that's what I'm going to be doing, because I've already set up the CI pipeline in my previous tutorial, and that's something you can go back to my previous tutorial and have a look. Here you have an option to basically look at the team members. So when you are looking for the free account, it allows you to have 3 users per Cypress Cloud, and it is also eligible only for the 14 days. Post that, you will have to really pay for it. I don't really have um, any other team member at this moment, so I'm not really writing down the name of those team members. I'm just going to be moving forward. So what I'm going to do is, like, I just click on the skip for now section, and here you go. So this is the paid feature of Cypress, Cypress Cloud. So here you can see that your name and the organization you belong to comes here. And then once you close it, you basically have option to select and then choose a project. And what you can do is, like, basically users and all of these options are available, right? So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to be integrating it with my GitHub repository. You have all of these options available from your integration point of view from your Cypress Cloud. So let's say if you wish to integrate it with GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, all these three are very much possible. So you can straight away come over here and can do this. So let's say if you wish to also connect your Cypress Cloud with, let's say, Microsoft Team, Jira, or any other, let's say, Slack. So that's also something which is available here. All you need to do is just to click enable and follow the instruction. At this moment, I'm not really going to be focusing on all these other, tools and stuff, but I'm just going to be focusing on the GitHub part of it. But then all of these options are available. So let's say if you have any particular need or ask, you can very well come over here and can click all of these appropriate options, one or all of them, and then can set up your things, right? So I'm going to be doing it for GitHub now. So let me click on enable, and it opens up a pop-up. So let me share the entire desktop of mine. Now you can see probably the pop-up as well. So here's a pop-up, and Deepak Jav 14. I think that's pretty much it. So let's say authorize only selected repositories. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to be basically selecting a repository for which I need to do this, and the repository name is, so let's just come here. There you go. So here is the repository that I need to give access to my Cypress, and all I need to do is install, and then let me key in the password that I have. It's going to be redirecting it there, and there you go. Right, so now it should be integrated with my GitHub, and then you can also see that the option, the GitHub, that thing is gone. It has come to enabled. So there is another thing that I need to talk to you about, right? So here are some of these keys available here, like the data extract API, right? So please understand and please note that by the time you see this tutorial, I would have changed these keys already. So please don't try to be over smart and try to hack my account. Yeah, it's not going to be possible for you. I'm going to be deleting entire project of mine in a moment, and then I'll not going to be covering these Cypress Cloud going forward only for this tutorial, except there is an exception. Please don't try to hack it. Please use your energy in a different, more useful way, so that you learn a few things and that helps you. This particular hacking is not going to be helping you, right? So please don't try this. Okay, so with that caveat and with that warning, I'm going to be moving ahead now. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to be setting up, I'm going to be doing the other thing. Now I'm going to be taking you to the documentation again. So what I'll do is, like, I'll just again share the browser only, and here in the browser. Okay, so here's the project, right? So we have already covered the introduction. I think I've already spoken about all these small bits and pieces of what Cypress Cloud is all about, and it's a paid feature and this other stuff. And now I'm going to be connecting with the project. And the project tab will go and will cover all these topics one by one, right? So let me start with the project now. and here with projects. Okay, so now there are all these options available within the projects, right? So I'm going to be covering the other tabs as well in a little while later, but then let's just start with the project first. Okay, so firstly it talks about the setup. So essentially it talks about the setup when you run the Cypress open command, in which a pop-up opens up, as we had been seeing all that while. So there you have an option to click on runs and settings and many other tabs, right? So this is not something really important. So what I'm going to be doing is like this basically when you do a desktop run. So that's something you can do it yourself as well if you just go through these steps, which are fairly simple. But what I'm going to be covering rather is the GitHub integration, right? So in order to do the GitHub integration, I'll first of all take you there, right? So here on this page, so first is the default project of ours, and we are yet to connect it. So let's just click on this. So now here it tells us that the first thing it tells us that to set up a project, and in order to set up a project, it tells us to basically add this particular project ID in your cypressconfig.js. Okay, so now again let me take you back to the project. So here if you look at the project ID, right? So here is the project ID. So project ID is nothing but a 6-character long string in a Cypress configuration, right? And what we are doing is basically a cypressconfig.ts. So in our cypressconfig.ts, I'm going to be adding this project ID precisely. So let me just copy this project ID as is. I'm going to be taking you to the code editor, and there the code editor, I'm going to be opening the cypressconfig.ts, which is right here. And I'm going to be adding the project ID, right? So how do I do so? It's fairly simple. So all I need to do is to basically here, and I'm going to be defining this. So this is the project ID. Please note this project ID is specific to mine, right? This project ID alone will not really identify my project. It also needs a record ID, and that's something I'm going to be showing you a little while later. But please understand, don't try to hack this. Okay, I'm going to be changing this project ID immediately after I finish this tutorial. Okay, so again, now I'll take you back to the browser, and I have finished writing the project ID. So okay, so let's just click on it. Okay, I added my project ID next, and then show your CI provider, right? In our case, we have done the GitHub Actions. So let me click on next. So what it tells is that it needs to basically, okay, so there are a few things here, right? So the first is you can basically record your test from the CI. You can also record your test from your local terminal. As you can see in the documentation itself, here the first step, which is setting up a project record, it tells you how to do that locally, right? But then since we have chosen a CI with GitHub Actions and GitHub Workflows, so what I'm going to be doing is basically to give this project ID there in my, or this record ID there in my CI, and from there I'm going to be running it. So here it tells us basically a two-step process. Okay, so what it tells is that, okay, so it says that let's try to run this from my local. So let me just copy this command and take you back to the code editor. And here at the code editor, I'm going to be running this. Okay, let's just try to do this here. I'll close this bit, or let me cancel it this way. Cypress going to be running the test in the headless mode, and after that I have already given the project ID, and I've also given the record ID here. And then what it tells is that it is going to be uploading all the artifacts and all the test results in my cloud, and that's something we're going to be seeing shortly, right? Let it run, and then I'll take you there. All right, so now you can see that all these tests have run, and there is a problem though. The problem is that when we were setting up Cypress, during that time we had basically taken a few scripts which were not really required to be in your pipeline, and unfortunately that those have run as well, and then they have come in the test result. Although what we care about is the E2E login only, so which is the last script over here, and that's what essentially we have written so far. And now let me take you back to the browser, and here in the browser, here is the test case run result. It fairly took roughly about 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And then if you click on it, and also before I reach here, you please see that it says that replace the test CSV file in current folder. It basically taking up the last commit message here. And then when you click on it, it gives you the entire overview of all the test cases that I've run. Okay. So there is another feature that I want to bring your attention to, which is that there are a couple of test cases which have failed, but then those test cases are basically from the different functionality. It is not really required here in the code base. So I'm not just going to be focusing on, but what I'm going to be focusing on rather is the E2E login. Okay. So let's say if I click on here, so now you can see that the E2E login that what we have written had 3 assertions, right? And then all these test cases have passed. So let's just see, click on these. So the moment you click on test replay, it is going to be running the same test once again. So here you can see that all of these steps are here, right? The first is the username, and it brings to the focus, and then it types deepak.job, right? And you can see that things have completed like this. And then it brings the focus, and then it types password 123. And if you come here, it is selecting the login, and then it clicks the login button, and then it makes an API call, and then it brings the dashboard over here, and it also check if the dashboard is included in the URL, which is the case, and then it fulfills all the test response, and that's how it finishes up, right? Now let me go back, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be removing all the other test cases basically from this repository because these are essentially not needed. Okay, so let me remove them by deleting them simply. So I've deleted them, and then please note that so the reason why I have deleted those 2 folders is that when we were setting up the Cypress, that's when those 2 folders were created and by default. Okay. And why those 2 test cases were needed? Because why those 2 folders were needed? Because if you have those 2 test case folders, it is going to be basically giving you an overview of what are the other possible ways of writing a test case and what are the other functions and features of Cypress that you can write your code in and then can use their functions, right? So that's why it was important. And also, I think I've already given you a gist of the project ID and also the record ID. So by using a record ID, we have just recently run this and we were able to capture those records. Okay. So now let me take you here on the project once again. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take you here on the branches. I'm just going to be, looking at all the other branches that I have. So currently I'm only working on main, right? So if you click on it, it tells you that how many failed, how many pass, and what are the assertion and things like that. So all the test cases which you have run would appear here. Okay. And then let's click on the analytics, right? This is the important part. So here, if you see, so it is going to be, total runs over time. And also note that the project ID and also the record ID is very, very essential. Just look at this particular paragraph over here. So it essentially tells us that when someone has a project ID and a record ID available with them, they can actually, by using those 2 keys, they can run their test cases and those would be recorded to in your cloud. And the Cypress Cloud, they charge you money basis on the runs that you do. Okay. If you're running it, if someone else is running your project ID and someone else is running your record ID, it is going to be increasing your bill. So be careful about it and please try to keep them safe. So in order to keep them safe, you can obviously do all the best practices that don't commit them in the repository, and then you can also keep them separate and things like that. All of those are applicable here as well, and you need to basically derive your own security mechanism to hide these 2 keys. Okay, you can also pass it through environment variable in your CI pipeline, like probably in the main.yml file in our case, the way we had written. So you pass the project key, and you also pass the record ID in that YAML file, and then that's how you run it, okay, as a variable. So probably, yeah, that's something which you can do. So I'm going to be talking about the project ID now, right? And then, record keys rather, right? So I'm going to be talking about the record keys, like how to take the record keys. So to take it, I'll take you here again at the run status, and then I would want you to click on the project status, or project settings rather. So here is the record keys you can use. You can actually create a new key. You can also delete some of these keys. And so let's say if your keys are available, and then since we have not deleted the key, so what I'm going to do is like I'm just going to be running the test case all over again, and let's see if this gets recorded or not. So up arrow, run, and then I'll take you back to the browser. And this time around, I believe that this time around, while we are running the test cases, it is not really going to be recording it. So now you can see that now there is just one test case which resides here. And then again, if I take you back to the code editor, you may notice that the test cases are being running. And now you can see that your record key is not valid with the project ID. This is this. So it has not really generated any test cases and not really uploaded in the Cypress Cloud. So that's how you can do it. Let's say if you want to create a new one, so all you need to do is click on the project setting, come here and generate a new key, copy this, and then let me take you to the browser. So here in the browser, you can basically delete this key, and then you can also generate a new one the way I have done it. So I'm just going to be copying it now the way by just clicking on it here. So once you copy it, all you need to do is like just go to the code editor, and there is the code editor. Press up arrow, and the record key that you need to pass is the key that you've just recently generated. So in my case, it's this. Press enter, and now let me take you back to the browser. And here in the browser, I'll again take you to the default project. So there you go. Now you can see that it is running a new test case and it is recording all the test results, right? So I hope I'm clear enough to tell you like what is really needed in order to see the Cypress Cloud and run the test cases. So let's just wait for a minute, and then probably so let's see if the CSV file got deleted mistakenly or not. So let me take you back to the code editor. So here are the code editor. Yep. By mistake, I think the test.csv got deleted. Let me replace it back. Restore. Come here, and there you go. And once I don't think so I need to commit it now because I don't want it to run from the CI at this now. I'm just going to be running this once again from here. And then again, I'll take you back to the browser. And there are the browser since I'm running the third time. All I need to do is go back and then see this. So you can see that it is running here again. So let's see if it succeeds this time around. So now you can see that it has succeeded all the 3 times. All the 3 test cases have passed. So these are E2E test cases, right? And then now you can see that all these are different tabs. So you have a flaky, non-flaky test available here. Probably these are the very small set to run the test cases. Let me go back to the previous or the first run rather. So here, if I click on it, and then if I probably try to see the different result. So these are all the possible runs that I've done so far. Okay, so this is all about the local running, and now you can see that previously there were 2 failed, 1 failed, 0 failed this time around, and you can run it. I think I've already given you a quick overview of what test replay is all about. Once you click on it, it basically also tells you all the other details about a particular test case. So you can come here, so you can see the runtime environment, right, and artifacts that get generated, test code coverage, failure rate, right, and then key analysis, performance, right, and then test definition. So it gives you all of it. So by this, you can really see, and then you can also see by clicking on it, like the overall test result or the test case report. So you can see that the test case report here. You can close it, go back to the default project here, and you can basically delete them as well, right? So flaky. Okay, so in order to do this, you will have to basically do some more settings probably to do the retries, and after the retries, it starts to appear in the flaky test. So all these options are available. Now let me again take you back to the documentation, and we have covered the record key as well. You can basically delete the key, and that's something which you have already seen a moment ago. And then this is a parallelization settings. So what is parallelization? So parallelization meaning if you want to run your test cases in different machines altogether to have the better to improve the timing of the test cases, you can certainly do this and come over here in the project setting and do the parallelization. So in order to do this, let me again take you back to here and come here and prioritization. Here is the run completion delay, right? So like if you come over here in this particular page, all you can do is you can basically click on this learn more. The moment you click on the learn more, it tells you like what is the run completion delay, and then click on the run parallelization. So here on the parallelization, right, and then do the build tag, and there are various other mechanism available through which you can basically pass various different parameters on your test cases and you can run the parallel report, right? So now again, if I come here on the different tab, and this is a parallelization delay is something that, let's say if your test case finishes, and sometimes it in CI system it takes a while to do the other cleanup task. So this parallelization or the run completion delay is basically after finishing up all your test cases, it still waits for a few seconds until the cleanup task finishes, and that's when it completes the test. So this is a mandatory time you can give in seconds basically. So you have different options. You can give as much as you like basis on what your requirement is precisely. So in my case, I've given it about 60 seconds, but then if you like to increase it, decrease it, all of it is possible. Okay. So I think this is good so far, and now you can see that the other important details are also available. So project name, default project, and created. When it is created, it's created today, which is September 13th, 2024. And then you can give the access public, private, all of that stuff is available here. I think that's all about the project settings and default project. And I think I've already given you an overview of how it will work. So let me try to run this in the CI pipeline, and let's see how it functions and how it is recorded. Okay, so in order to run the CI pipeline, all I need to do is basically commit my code currently, and let's see what happens, right? Okay, so in order to store the record key in repository, we can't really store it directly. Okay, so as we have seen earlier, the record key and the secret, like the project key, both of them are crucial in order to record the test cases. If anyone has these two settings with you, you can basically do a lot of harm, or it can basically create screenshots and run the and store the results in whatever secret and project ID given in the while running the Cypress test cases. Okay, so it basically runs on basis on those two parameters, right? So record ID is something which is which basically the project ID is something which is available in the GitHub repository, and we are going to be committing that. But then in case of a record ID, we are not really going to be keeping it there. So in order to keep the record ID, what we need to do is basically go to the project setting, and here the project setting, I'm just going to be copying this. And after that, I'm going to be opening the GitHub. And here at the GitHub, I'm going to be also opening the repository that I have been committing my changes into, and then clicking on the settings. And here are the settings. What I'm going to do is like I'm just going to be coming down here at the secrets and variables and on action, and I'm going to be putting a new variable over here, right? So let me put the secret over here, and the secret name that I need to give is let's say Cypress record key, and that's how you essentially give the or that's how you essentially save the record key in your repository. So now you have saved it, Cypress record key, and it's not something which is visible out of the box. You'll have to click on the edit, or probably you can delete it as well, right? But then now, since I've saved it, so what I'm going to do is like I'll just take you back to the code editor of mine, and there I'm going to be putting this I'm going to be putting this record key in my main.yaml. In order to do this, I'll take you to the code editor, and here is the code editor. Let me open main.yaml, and in main.yaml I'm going to be creating a new name. So let's say upload test results and run, and I'm going to be running this. Okay, I don't think so I need this either. I'm going to be running a command. The command is npx. So the command is npx cypress run -- record, and then the key is the secret key that I've stored in my repository. Okay, I will have to commit this code, but then this is what I'm going to be doing now. Either I can do this, or I could probably do this as well. I have to come pod key, and then I can move this thing. Right, let me save this, and I'm going to be committing this. So what I'm going to do is like running enter, and I'm going to be taking you back to the browser. And there at the browser, let's see, click on the actions, and you can see that it is running here. And let's see if that records it properly or not. So I'm also going to be looking at the project here, clicking on all the projects over here. Let's see if that gets recorded. So at this moment it is installing all the dependencies. Now we are concerned about this particular step, which is upload test result. And let's just wait for a moment. Let's see how it functions. Okay, so both of them are run properly. Now let me take you back to page here. There you go. So now you can see that we were also able to run this from the CI and also being recorded here. So we have covered both the flavors, meaning we were able to run the test cases from the desktop and then we were able to record those. Same time, we also tried to put that in the CI, and in our case, it was GitHub Actions and GitHub Workflow. Using the secrets that we have saved online, we were able to run this in the CI, and we were able to run both these tests, all the tests properly, and we were also able to record them. And after that, we were also able to see that appearing here. Okay, so you can click on the default project, and then you can come over here and can see all of this. Right? So the last one, which is appearing at the top, which is number 4, was the one which got into we got into it from the CI. So this is just an overview session, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know more about it, or if you have a particular doubt on a particular topic or point, please do write down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you in set up these things, and I'll also try to help you write the test cases. Okay, but then if you have a problem in writing a test case, and if you have a problem in understanding any particular function, I would request you to go back to the repository and in the previous chapters. And when the moment you install the Cypress locally, it will also install some of the E2E test cases, and it creates 2 folders over there, right? And that's something we have related in this particular tutorial. So look at those 2 folders carefully, and then you would be able to see all your test cases, all the functions which are required to run your test cases would be available there. You'll have to create your own recipe, so to say, right? So here you can click on the analytics, and it'll tell you the things that have happened. And I'm going to be refreshing this. It is taking a moment, and after it refresh, it gives you full view of what has happened in your test cases so far, how many failed, pass, average, everything. Now you can see that it appears here based on the date, right? Failure percentage was 25%, and then branch, you can basically correct. At this moment I already have main, and then let's say if you had multiple branches, you can basically select the branches as well. If you have tags in your GitHub repository, those are also allowed to be seen. And in the last 3 months, 1 month, and whatever duration that you wish to see your test cases running, pass, failing, or whatever, something that you can select from this drop down over here, and weekly as well, right? So that's all about this particular chapter, and that's all about all the test cases so far. And then here, it gives you a pretty deep insight on how test cases suits are functioning, right? And top failures, top results, all this data, all this analytics is pretty awesome and amazing, right? You can basically do a lot of stuff, and you can do a lot of improvement if you have a Cypress Cloud. Okay, so all these things are possible. All you need to do is to come here and start setting this up, and then I think you'll be good to go. You may also notice over here it says that 13 days left, because I've just taken a trial license of Cypress, and just to show you how it really functions, and that's why I've given it. Please note that entire Cypress is not free. Okay, so Cypress, when you are writing a test cases, it's absolutely free. It comes with MIT license. But if you are taking up their cloud offering, Cypress Cloud to be precise, it's something which is paid. Okay, so I've only taken a free subscription for 14 days. After that, it'll expire. So that's why you say that 13 days left, and you will have to go to the pricing and see what works best for you. Okay, so now I think we have done the introduction, we have done the projects, we have also done the runs, orchestration also, prioritization, and parallelization also something which is possible. And then if you have a deep, if you have a particular need, please do come down here and then look at any of these points, which is load balancing, spec prioritization, auto cancellation, and parallelization. So anything you can choose and can do a lot many things here. Flaky test management is basically determined by the retries. So I'm not really going to be explaining that in detail because we don't really have any flaky tests at this moment. Okay, but then there's a lot of things that you can do. Like you can also set up alerts in flaky test, and many of the features you can all come here on this particular documentation. You can read more about what flaky test and how to report them and what best you can do with this, right? So all these things are available here. If you come here, it says analytics, and in case of analytics, it gives you all the insight of your project, how many failed past days, all of that something we have already seen. We've also covered branch tags last 3 months, weekly, hourly, everything here, right? So I think we are good here as well. GitHub integration also something which we have already spoken about, and we were also able to see that we were also able to see the test cases getting reported from the CI pipeline to the Cypress Cloud. We've just seen that in a moment ago. And yeah, and then you can basically integrate your test suite with Jira, Slack, and Bitbucket and many other things. That's something we have already spoken about. I'm not really going to be going into detail of these, but then if you have a particular doubt, please do write down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you create those. Okay, so here is the organization. Also in our case, there is a JS Cakes organization that we have chosen. Probably I can show you here, so you can see the organization name up here. So in our case, it is a JS Cakes, also the name of my project, also the name of my channel, YouTube channel, right? And users also you can manage. With that, I think I've pretty much given you the overview of what Cypress Cloud is all about. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the tutorial all that while. And if you are liking my work, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon in case if I post a new video, you would be notified. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening and all that while. And I'm going to be seeing you in the next tutorial, wherein we will complete the remaining test cases for the form, navigation, tabs, and other things. So this is again, I must repeat that the tutorial that we finished this particular tutorial was for the paid version of Cypress Cloud, and it is not really available for free. And the pricing is something that you can come here and check yourself what suits you best. But then this tutorial was just to give you the overview of what it is all about. Also, please note, I'm going to be deleting this particular Cypress Cloud subscription. I'm going to be deleting the keys as well. So please don't try to misuse the keys and project keys because it's not going to be very useful for you. You cannot really hack it because by the time you see this video, I would have deleted those keys already. So with that, I think we have pretty much finished with this chapter. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.